What's up, gamers? You have TigerChainsaw. When you think of games that nobody knows about except you, what are some of your top choices? And when I'm talking about games that nobody knows about, what are games that are really, really good that nobody knows about? For me, I think Warlocked on the Game Boy Color is a game that exemplifies that, personally for me. This is such a great game, it's so much fun, and I feel like nobody knows about this game besides myself. And so today I'm going to be talking and reviewing Warlocked on the Game Boy Color. And it's so impressive because as someone that has made a Game Boy game, shout out Maiden of the Dark, it is even more impressive to see what the developers did with Warlocked. It has blown my mind, and I want to share it with all of you. So I'm going to be reviewing Warlocked. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, or if you just haven't yet, go ahead and hit that sub button because I've got tons of game reviews on this channel, ranging from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up to the PS5. So go ahead and hit that sub button so you can help my channel grow and you can catch all of those game reviews. All right, let's see what makes Warlocked so special on the Game Boy Color. What's a game that comes to your mind when you think of amazing games that no one else knows of? For the Game Boy Color at least, that game is Warlocked. In 2000, Bits Studios put together one of the best real-time strategy games for the handheld system, but sadly, very few people know about this game. Well, today that changes. We're gonna party on, grunts, and jump into this Warlocked review, starting with the plot, but be warned, spoilers are ahead. Warlocked features two different paths in the game. You can choose to be the human faction or the beast faction. If you are the humans, you'll be defending Queen Azrael as the beasts try and kidnap her and destroy the human kingdom. If you decide on playing as the beasts, you'll be working for Chief Zog, who has a goal of marrying Queen Azrael, but he shows it in a funny way by burning down her villages and killing her troops. Now, I only played the campaign once and I chose to be the humans, so I don't exactly know what happens if you beat the game with the beasts, but as the humans, you'll have to rescue the queen, defend her villages, grow enough crops for the troops and citizens, and seek and destroy enemy bases in order to defeat Chief Zog and his army of beasts. When you do this, you defend Queen Azrael, and you get an ending where the beasts have been banished and defeated. As a real-time strategy game, you think that it would be difficult to play on the Game Boy Color, but the programmers did a fantastic job with the controls. Using a cursor on the screen, you can navigate the map and give commands like attack, defend, build, gather, and travel. It made the playthrough for Warlocked so much more enjoyable, not having to navigate with terrible controls. Each campaign has different objectives for their missions. Playing as the humans, you'll need to grow your army, rescue wizards, build farms, free prisoners, and attack enemy bases. If you love real-time strategy games, you'll love this game. Everything is satisfying as you watch your grunts mine for gold, cut down logs, or search for treasures to help build your forces. You can recruit archers, knights, and grunts to help you along the way. Grunts will cut down the trees, head into the mines, and rebuild your damaged farms or buildings. Archers are weak in hand-to-hand combat, but can be pretty helpful when tracking down dragons. And that's right, there are dragons in this game. Knights were my main battle units, as I sent them to do the majority of my killing. They have a strong attack and can absorb much more damage than the archers. I'd always keep at least 6 knights guarding my city or patrolling, or having them attack enemies at all times. In Warlocked, you can rescue wizards who are being held as prisoner. Each wizard has a unique power that you can use to defeat the enemy. My favorite was Chicken Wiz, who turned enemies into chickens so you could kill them easier. There's also Sleepy Wiz, who, you guessed it, puts the enemies to sleep, and you can combine these attacks. So sometimes I'd have both of these wizards out where the enemy would turn into a chicken and fall asleep, making them helpless to my sword attacks. But my favorite was the roast chicken attack. You can find baby dragon eggs scattered throughout the lands, and once they hatch, you take them back to the center of your city for them to fully grow into a dragon. Once fully grown, these mega attack units can burn anything in their path, and it turned the tide in my favor more than once. With Chicken Whiz, I would turn the enemies into clucking hens before my dragon would fly in and burn them to a crisp. The result was a roasted chicken animation, which was a great touch. Missions at first took around 20 minutes to complete, but the further you advance in the game, the longer they become. Near the end of the game, the missions were taking around an hour to complete, which made it all more important to not make any mistakes. On occasion, I would have to retry a few missions, which kinda sucked just because of how long they took, but I learned from my mistakes and made sure not to repeat them on my next try. Warlocked rewards the player for exploring during the missions. You may find a hidden treasure chest, a magical scroll that will give you a hint, or a wizard that is locked up. I made sure to clear the entire map before completing my main objective. Another fun little reward is seeing all the animated drawings after your victory. My favorite was definitely the grunts drinking root beer. For a Game Boy Color game, I had no issues with the sprites or needing to see more of the map. The game would warn you when you were being attacked, and you can just hold down a button to move your cursor faster toward the action. Warlocked offers just about everything you could possibly want from a handheld RTS from the year 2000. And as stated, there are 2 campaigns, so if you beat it with one, it's got a lot of replayability as you can play as the second faction. Warlocked is a fantastic game. It has graphics that look great on the Game Boy Color. All the colors really pop, and what really stands out to the ears is the soundtrack. The soundtrack will keep you going during those long missions as you mine for gold, cut down trees, and fight enemies. The soundtrack was top notch. Now, as someone that, again, has created a Game Boy game, I was blown away by what they put onto a cartridge. Everything runs smooth, all the animations are great, and there are no frame rate or slowdown issues. Warlocked is truly a masterpiece when it comes to how they developed the game. My hat goes off to all the programmers of this game. Who knew this game could be so fun? I certainly didn't, and I wonder why it gets overlooked so much for great Game Boy Color games. I was sad to learn that a sequel was in development for the Game Boy Advance called Wizards, but that was canceled. Bits Studios did a wonderful job on the GBC, and I bet they would have delivered another great game with even better technology. Warlocked is the perfect game during a car ride or a Saturday morning when you're watching cartoons, which is why Warlocked scores a 9.3 out of 10. Everything from the animation, the graphics, the gameplay, and the soundtrack come together to create a masterpiece. Gamers, that is my review of Warlocked from the year 2000 on the Game Boy Color. It is a technological marvel, and it is so addicting and impressive. They put all of this action on this little handheld, and when I played it and I beat it, I was blown away. Gamers, I would love to hear from you guys that have played this game. What are your thoughts on it? Have you played as the humans? Have you played as the beasts? And if you have not played this game, do you want to play it now after watching this review? I would love to hear your thoughts on it. While you're typing away your comments, don't forget to like this video and, of course, subscribe to this channel because I've got tons of game reviews on it. Now, this was a glowing review, but if you want a review that is not so, what's the word? I don't know, shiny, then you can check out my Borderlands 3 review, which is going to be coming up next. That game, quite frankly, stinks. Gamers, thank you for watching, and make sure you play a video game today.